Hello, my name is Galadite74, and this is my draft analysis for the GBA. I'm going to get the serious and background information that you all need to know for this season of the GBA and how I made it to this coach role out of the way early. And then afterwards, me and my assistant coach will be showcasing the season's roster in a much more non-scripted, laid-back way. First off, I assume a lot of you will be new viewers to the channel, so welcome. I'm Galadite. I started playing Draft in Generation 6 and have almost played non-stop since midway through Generation 7. I've won multiple championships in Generation 8 and have a lot of accolades mostly featured on this channel. So if you're interested in the history or just have any general questions for myself, leaving a comment is great. I also play competitive Unite too, so if you're interested in that, I plan, no guarantees, on uploading that a bit more. Lastly, you're probably wondering why I am a coach. Well, in short, I was originally the assistant coach for Kelly or Under the Radar. However, due to outside circumstances, he had to drop from the league. His YouTube will be in the description below. I highly advise you go over there and show him nothing but love and support. He is a really awesome dude, makes great content, and he is a good friend of mine. Hopefully I can make the Maryland Terrapin fans proud. Speaking of showing people love, I mentioned assistant coaches. This is the part of the video where my script ends and I introduce you to your Calgary Flamethrowers assistant coach. CB Marcus, introduce yourself.
What is good, guys? It's your boy CB Marcus, and I have been a Draft League player since about 2015 through Gen 6. Started playing Competitive Showdown back in 2013, so it's been about 10 years, but I'm happy to be back. I've been watching GBA probably since about that time, 2014, 2015, so it's crazy that I'm actually getting to be a part of this, but I'm super happy to join. So thank you for having me, Galadite.
Of course. I'm glad I'm not the old man in this call, which is really sick. Anyway, so the plan for this video, again, it's to showcase what we drafted / we didn't draft this. Kelly drafted it, or I drafted it. It was a live draft. Kelly was busy during the live draft, so I did this under Kelly's notion, and then he finished off the draft. So it's more of his draft than anything. However, we're taking it over. I will forewarn that there is a chance, not guaranteed, that we will be making some transactions that would be in effect week 3. So keep that in mind. When week 2 ends in that video, I will mention it most likely. So that's undecided. We're going to go over the team that Kelly drafted today. Starting off this draft, we're going to break this draft down in a few different pairs based on how this team was drafted. So we're going to start off with our first 4 here being Bax Caliber, Ursaluna, Grimmsnarl, and Slowking. Very, very heavy hitters and also good mons to support these heavy hitters. Bax Caliber was a mon I know Kelly really wanted to use, and hopefully, again, we'll be able to make it work this season. Very strong hitter. It's got a lot of support from Slowking and Grimmsnarl. What do you have to say about this, Marcus?
Bax is a super interesting mon. It's a mon that I think I've used in draft maybe once, so I can't say I have too much experience with it. But yeah, it basically hits like a truck. You can run SD, you can run DD, and so you have a few different ways to be able to get that attack set up, or you can just run Banded and just shred something if you don't really need the speed. But it's got basically everything it needs to hit stuff, barring maybe some steel types or maybe some like levitating, like a fire type like Rotom Heat or something like that. But whatever it really doesn't hit for max damage, it can probably set up on once or twice. So it's super good. I really like its offensive presence here.
I agree with you 100%. I also like the support quite a bit coming out from this team here. Grimmsnarl, as I mentioned, along with Slowking. If you guys don't know, I've used Grimmsnarl a few times now. It's a mon I'm very comfortable with. Probably the mon I'm most comfortable with out of the 4 mentioned here. It got Parting Shot this generation. That's new. And having that pivot option is going to be super nice to get backs in to do things like Marcus just mentioned. Setting up screens for it potentially. Whatever the situation calls for each week, Grimmsnarl has the tools for every scenario. It's just which scenario you want to set up. And that's what I really, really enjoy about it. The mon also hits pretty hard. Not saying I'm really going to need it on this team, but it is an option. And Slowking, another move that's new to it this generation is Chilly Reception. guy tells a really bad joke and then gets out of there. Also supports our breakers very well. I haven't really mentioned Ursaluna too much yet. This was a last-second pick because Vepsis sniped me mid-draft in the middle of the call. Very rude of him. So we picked up Ursaluna instead of something else we were looking at. Very strong Mon. Again, can do a lot of different things that I think are a little bit underrated. People know it as like, Flame War Breaker, but it can do a lot more than that.
Ursaluna is another really strong Pokemon, so just paired with Baxcalibur, we basically have at least one thing that can handle every single Pokemon from an offensive standpoint. And I really like that Grimmsnarl can get both of them in with Parting Shot, and I like that Slowking can also do both of them a service either with Chilly Reception just to get in the Baxcalibur, or Trick Room plus Chilly Reception to get in the Ursaluna. So there's a lot of different ways to be able to link these mons together, which is ultimately the point of draft. And I also like with Grimmsnarl and Slowking that they're not super passive. They can do stuff offensively as well. Grimmsnarl can set up potentially. Grimmsnarl can just hit pretty hard right off the bat, and then Slowking can also get up like Trick Room plus Nasty Plot, maybe status some stuff as well. So ultimately, I like a lot of what these mons have to offer for us.
I agree. One of the biggest weaknesses of the draft league that I'm uploading right now is that my defensive core is a little too passive, smile. So hopefully that won't be an issue in this season. I do like how Bax and Ursaluna are very different in terms of speed tiers. So, Slowking, you mentioned Trick Room, could be a very good option for us, but maybe not Trick Room with Bax, with boosting its speed. Speaking of speed, I do want to move on to our next 3 Pokemon, and that's what it's all about, speed and cleaning. Our next 3 Pokemon are going to be Quaquaval, Cyclizar, and Electrode Hisui. And a big thing I want to mention here, before Marcus puts some of his input in, is that Quaquaval and Electrode Hisui can Terastallize. For the Terastallization rules, I'm pretty sure you can pick one Stab and then one other type for your Terra type. So for this season of the GBA, unless I do switch around, my Quaquaval is going to be able to Terastallize into a Water type and an Electric type, and Electrode Hisui is going to be able to Terastallize into a Grass or Ice type. With Electrode's case, Grass, Ice, Electric, insane coverage. Quaquaval, very, very strong cleaner with a lot of deadly options. Very, very strong options. I think Kelly did a great job in that sense of drafting cleaners, and Cyclizar has a lot of utility with it. Marcus, what are your thoughts?
Quaquaval is, again, not a mon that I've used in draft, but I've used a ton on Nat decks, especially. Just Banded, Aqua Step, especially if you're Terra Water, it cleans up so nicely. Because you basically are breaking with the potential to sweep more and more with every single hit you get off. Electrode H I have used in draft a ton, and that mon shows up more than the top tiers. I have a Palafin and I have a Lando Y, and Electrode has shown up just as many times as them, if not more. It is such a versatile mon, being able to hit the ground types that, its Electric Stab is immune to, and especially being able to Terastallize into a Grass or an Ice type, it's going to be super, super useful for being able to clean up games. As for Cyclizar, I really like its ability to get up something like Shift Gear. It's not super passive. Granted, Shed Tail is banned, so it's not going to be able to do that, but it can U-turn, knock, Draco, spin. It's got a lot of different options, whether it's physical, special, supportive, or offensive. I feel like it's just a fun mod to have, and it kind of gives us a regen core with the Slowking and the Cyclizar, which actually have 2 very interesting typing synergies with each other.
That was a good point that you mentioned right there. You did also mention that Shed Tail is banned. Boy, for you viewers, you're going to be upset when you see one of the last 4 mons on this team right now. But Electrode Hisui, I know Marcus loves this mon. You mentioned it. Very strong. I like its stab options quite a bit. I was going to mention something about Quaquaval, and I can't quite remember what I was going to say, which makes me a little upset.
Setup, sweeping, Electric type.
Does all that stuff.
I feel like with Quaquaval especially, like if you were to run like a super strong set, just something that's like Banded, you can just run Aqua Step, CC, U-turn, and as soon as you U-turn out of there, you're getting more and more chip for an eventual Aqua Step sweep, or a potential close combat sweep too. So I really like the ability for it to get in and get out, and get into, especially something strong like a Baxcalibur or Ursaluna, just to break the rest.
I agree. I think we're gonna move on and transition to our last 4 Pokemon on this team. At this point in the video, I am stunned at how professional we are being right now. I thought this would be a lot more what the hell is going on, but look at us go. Final 4 mons on this team are Colossal, Earthworm, Salazzle, and Ice Cube. So yeah, we picked up both Shed-Tail users that both can't use it, so that's a little tragic. In terms of mons and comfort, Salazzle is the mon I've arguably used the most next to Silvally and Draft ever. That and Cinderace as well. So it's a mon I am extremely comfortable with. It fits another speed tier that, though it kind of matches Cyclizar a little bit, I think those mons do very different things. So that's pretty neat. Colossal, not the biggest fan, but I do understand why it's on this team. Some good removal for stuff like the Baxcalibur, not having to force it to run Boots every week, or not forcing myself to have to run Cyclizar every week. Earthworm and Ice Cube, those are mons, yes. Especially Ice Cube. The Aimable Tech, I'm sure that will come one week, surely.
Colossal is just one of those mons that is there because of its cheap price. I feel like that's why it's on most teams. It's there because it's cheap, and it's there because it can get rid of hazards. I do like its ability to be physical or special and get up spikes or rocks, but it's really going to be mostly a one-note Pokemon. But, you know, it's always an option, and that actually gives us 3 spinners on the team, which is not something anybody else can say, from what I recall. Earthworm is kind of in the same vein. It's a steel type. It kind of fits that role for us. Being able to be immune to ground as well is very, very nice, given the lack of a flying type on this team. It also gets up spikes and rocks, which is nice, and potentially has a little bit of setup potential. Salazzle, I mean, obviously the best mon. It is the most expensive of this bunch, but it can really do a lot. I'm a big fan of it as well. Definitely not as big of a fan as my head coach, but its ability to, you know, outpace a lot of stuff, especially in the Scarlet Violet meta, hit a lot of things pretty hard with fire and poison is really nice. And then it also has some really nasty status. Being able to get up Toxics, Wisps, T-Wave, T-Spikes as well. I think you have a lot of cool options you can do with this one. Ice Cube, though, not a lot of cool options, but the one option that it has is pretty damn awesome. Being able to belly drum, being able to wall out a lot of physical attackers in snow. I think that's kind of all you need out of one of those cheaper Pokemon. And if I'm not mistaken, this was also like the GBA pre-Wi-Fi League champion.
Oh, is it? Oh, it is actually. I think you're right about that. That's insane that you remembered that. I'm pretty sure you're right about that. I would maybe double check it, and I'll put that in post editing. But yeah, that is true. A lot of Ice Cube stonks going up. Snow, you know, Snow's got buffed. We have Snow on this team, a lot of it. So anyway, that's probably gonna wrap it up for us. Again, I mentioned it before, a little stunned how professional this ended up being, but hopefully you did guys enjoyed. I'm gonna give you guys a quick rundown of how this is gonna go a little bit. Obviously, I'll be doing most of the battles, if not all of them. However, there's going to be extremely heavy emphasis on Marcus prep in this. If you guys don't know, Marcus preps in a very unique way, let's say, and it will be shown throughout the season. It will be very noticeable, and hopefully I can play that to the best of my ability. I might not do this every week, but I'm going to try and get some form of extended team builder into these videos and have Marcus join along with me. We can talk about our game plan and stuff. And if we make any transactions, I might put a post edit or, again, just mention it at the end of week 2. So this is the team for now. I really hope you guys are looking forward to this GBA season. I surely am. And admittedly, I've struggled a bit for my, you know, more loyal viewers or people who have been around for a bit. I've struggled with terrestrialization so far this generation. So hopefully this season we can bounce back and get used to this mechanic and win ourselves a championship. How's that sound, Marcus?
That sounds pretty damn good to me. I'm ready for it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, leaving a like means the world to me, as well as a comment. I love interacting with you guys. And of course, you know, the subscription button is free and all that good stuff. My Twitter is in the description below, as well as CB Marcus's Twitter and YouTube. Go show him some love, as well as Kelly. I'm going to end off the video here. Thank you guys for watching so much, and I'll see you guys in week 1 of GBA. Bye!